going to be talking about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I've had this phone for about 3 weeks now, and I was able to get it on launch day. I upgraded from the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I got the iPhone 15 Pro Max in the natural titanium color. So first impressions, the color was the first thing that came to my mind. This color looked a lot lighter on camera and on screen than it did in person. For a hot second, I thought that I received the wrong colored iPhone because it was a lot darker in person than, what I was expecting. It looks almost like a lighter version of a space gray color, and it definitely was giving gray undertones. I was expecting a lighter tone with like a gold undertone, but no, this was gray for sure. In lightings, it is like a lighter gray, but for the most part, unless you're in broad daylight, it's a gray color. Who would have thought natural titanium is gray? When I picked up the phone, I immediately can tell the difference with the edges. The iPhone 13 Pro Max, it had square edges, and the corner of the square, when you hold the phone, it would be like digging into your hand and to the skin. It wasn't uncomfortable, but it also wasn't comfortable. It just felt it didn't fit. It was almost kind of like you're forcing the incorrect puzzle piece into a spot that it's not supposed to fit in. They curved the edges a little bit. So instead of it being like a square, sharp edge, it's curved a little bit. And it stood out to me because when you hold the phone, when I hold the phone, I hold it like this. And you can see that my hand curves. When the phone sits here and, it naturally curves with the phone edges. With the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it was, remember, sharp. So, it did not fit the shape that my palm makes when I'm holding a phone. It just felt so much more luxurious, and it just feels so much better in the hands. 13 Pro Max had for its time, the bezels were pretty small, but now, that is a thing of the past. The bezels on this phone are so much thinner. And let me give you an example. When I'm holding the iPhone 13 Pro Max in my hands, when I hold it, some of the skin wraps around to the top of the phone, so I get a nice grip. And the skin, it's on top of the bezels. So the iPhone 13 Pro Max bezels were thick enough to the point where you can still kind of see the bezels. The skin wasn't completely covering it up. You can still see the outlines of the bezels. On the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it is so thin that the skin covers up the entire outline of the bezels, and it just looks like you're holding the screen. It feels very futuristic, and it feels luxurious. When I use my phone, I'm holding it and I'm scrolling through, it feels like you're not even holding a phone. It feels like you're just holding the screen. So coming from the iPhone 13 Pro Max, we didn't have the dynamic island. The dynamic island came out for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. That was kind of the selling point. To me, it didn't seem like it was such a huge quality of life improvement. So I held off on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I was wrong. The dynamic island, it increases the quality of my life, kind of in more ways than I thought. It's so convenient. Whenever I set a timer, when I'm cooking, or I put chicken in the oven or something in the oven, and I need a timer to remind me to take out the chicken, otherwise I'm gonna burn the house down. It's there. The timer is on the dynamic island, so it's at a quick glance. Like it's always in my sight. I don't have to scroll, like I don't have to swipe down and then like look at the timer and then swipe back up and then continue doing what I was doing. No, it's there in the dynamic island. It's not obstructing the view, it's not distracting me, and at a quick glance I can easily see like how much time I have left before I need to take out the chicken. And it's just really, really cool. You have your music there and it's very interactive. You can click on it and it'll take you right to the app. At first I was kind of like, this is a huge black pill in my screen, this is an eyesore, but honestly you don't even notice it. And then it's become so interactive with my daily activities and my, you know, the apps that I use. So I love the dynamic island. The other thing is the little action button now that they added where the silence little toggle thing was. I personally haven't used it. It's just kind of there for me. There are different like settings and, you know, things that you can do with the action button. Right now mine is set to open the camera, so all you do is just push on the action button, hold it down for like a second, and then it opens up the camera app. So it's just very convenient. It's better than like, you know, swiping down on the screen and then going to your control center, opening up, you know, clicking on that camera app and then opening it from there. Instead you can just hold the button. There's other settings and features that you can set it to, so you can have it, you know, turn on your flashlight. I know you can have it turn on silence mode, make your own shortcut so you can like make it specific to what you want. I haven't really done that yet, maybe one day, but right now I just haven't used that. The next thing I will say, the camera is so much better. I can tell the difference. I mean, I'm not really like a professional photographer where, you know, I can like point out every little details in the photos and be like, this is better, that is better. But just from, you know, an average consumer point of view, the camera is so much better. The lighting, the definition, the zoom in feature as well. I kind of played around the quality that the phone can generate. I think it was a 5x zoom. I zoomed in all the way and then I took a picture high definition. It's kind of scary because it's, you know, you can use that feature for a lot of bad things. Yeah, I'm not gonna go. Yeah, you can also could be used for a lot of good things. Like for example, like if I'm in the line, you know, at a restaurant and I can't see the menu, like I can just zoom in, and the battery life has been great. Pretty darn good, especially with this new A17 Pro chip. You know, I'd be ending the day with like 30-40% battery. I would say I'm more of an average consumer, so you know, I make daily phone calls, text message, passive scrolling on social media, maybe take some pictures, videos here and there if I'm like hiking. That's what I mainly use the phone for. And then I would also like listen to music as well. Now that I'm making like content on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, so this video is actually shot on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, so how about that for a review? There was one day where I was like addicted to my phone. On time was about 13 hours. I would say, yeah, I'm guilty. I'm addicted to my phone. It lasted me the whole day. I didn't have to charge at all. Like midday, I charged it right before I went to bed. I started, I think, around 9 a.m. It was 100%, and then around 9 p.m. it was about 20%, and then I started charging it at 10 p.m. and I think it was like around 15%. So it lasted me the whole day. And a lot of people who were like the first to receive the iPhones, they just had concerns about the phone overheating. I just never had an issue with that. My phone would get hot whenever I do something that would like cause the phone to get hot. So like when I'm making this video or FaceTime for like an hour, then my phone would get like a little bit warm, but it wouldn't get like hot, or to the point where like a lot of people were replacing that their phone, it was temporarily disabled, and my phone never did that. Then now I think it was with the latest iOS update 17.03. Been great. It doesn't really overheat unless I'm doing something very intensive on the phone. So overall, I love this phone. First, I had a little bit of buyer's remorse like the first week because it just felt like the same phone. But the more that I used it, when I had to pick up my iPhone 13 Pro Max again to trade it in, and I had to like put it in the box and I held it in my hand, no, them edges are sharp, like, oh, forget it. And then you can see like how thick the bezels were, and it's been a wonderful phone so far. That's about it. I mean, that was just, you know, my experiences so far, 3 weeks owning this, 3-4 weeks. I love this phone, and no more buyer's remorse. Peace out.